I mean, I love Kevin Durant. Love him. Dude's a baller. Um, but it's a fair question to ask where his motivation is when he keeps hopping around trying to figure out what's going, trying to find a place.
Greetings and salutations, and welcome to the Odd Coaches Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Keith Adams, and it's guest host week on the OCP. And with me today, my favorite administrator, Robert Abney. Robert, thank you for joining us in this Wind Up Wednesday episode. How you doing, buddy?
Living the dream, my man. Every day. Basketball season winding down. Just looking to see what happens next.
All right, and also with us is Captain for Life, one of the 14 co-producers of our upcoming documentary on the book Finding the Balance. Will Cotton. Will, how are you, man?
Doing great. How are you?
Oh man, this is awesome because we get to talk NBA, and we're going to talk this week about Kevin Durant's return. Can the Clippers take the next step? A couple of player profiles as well as the week ahead in the NBA. But first, let's talk KD. Kevin Durant is expected to make his return this week on March 1st, they said, according to reports, against the Charlotte Hornets. Good team to come back against. Durant hadn't played since January 8th, since suffering an MCL sprain while he was a member of the Brooklyn Nets. Durant's return is highly anticipated. The dude can play, and Phoenix is rolling out Durant, Devin Booker, Chris Paul, and DeAndre Ayton. Do you think Phoenix is the title favorite, sir? What say you?
I think, yeah, definitely. I think, in my opinion, you already have a great point guard. You have an all-star caliber center. Booker, and you have to you can't guard everybody. I think there's I think they're just the favorite, man. And I think what really is Chris Paul making the point guard, that makes it even stronger. I don't think we've ever seen him play with a team like that before, But I will say, if they do not win the title, then Kevin Durant is kind of, dude, you're one and two for super teams. And that,
all right, Mike doesn't like that title. Robert, do you think the Suns are the favorite?
They're a favorite. I don't know if they're the favorite, but they are certainly a favorite. If Chris Paul wasn't on the Suns, I would say no, because I don't think they would have enough basketballs for everybody on that team, because you only get to play with one at a time, right? Y'all know
one at a time.
One at a time. But with Chris Paul on that team, that kind of changes the dynamic. And I think the fact that he wants to win one because he hasn't, I think that matters a lot. I love Kevin Durant. Love him. Dude's a baller. But it's a fair question to ask where his motivation is when he keeps hopping around trying to figure out what's going, trying to find a place. So let's see what happens. I'm curious, but are they a favorite? Oh yeah. They're gonna be a handful for everybody.
I'll say my piece when we get to the standings in segment 3. Go ahead, Will.
Yeah, he's not validated. He's been very vocal about saying, I'm one of the greatest players ever. I don't need any more rings to validate my greatness. And I feel him. And I think you have this ring culture that people, kind of gravitate to that. And they just, look at what you've won, what have you rings and things like that. And it's ridiculous because one man doesn't win a ring. It takes a whole team. So, I think he's comfortable with that. As long as he keeps playing, man, if he's going to be a gun for hire and he just sneaks his way onto another team and get another chip, make those fans happy, whatever. But you're still going to be one of the greatest players ever already to touch a basketball. So,
yeah, he's a baller, man. Yeah. That's all there is. Dude's a baller.
Okay, so my partner will disagree with this next comment, but fellas, I think the Clippers might be a problem. They might be a problem. They got Kawhi Leonard healthy. They got Paul George. They got Ty Lue coaching, and a motivated Russell Westbrook ready to prove everybody wrong. Russ is not a bum, but he has been in some misplaced roles. Robert, can I convince you that the Clippers are going to be a problem?
No. Wait. Let me think about that for a second. No. I don't think Kawhi Leonard and Paul George can stay healthy. And I love Russell Westbrook. I've always loved his energy. I've always loved how hard he plays. He can't guard his shadow. And I think he's on the downhill slope.
Will, can I convince you that the Clippers are going to be a problem in the West?
I mean, they'll get in somebody's way. You know, like somebody trying to reach over each something, or get like get like somebody out the aisle or something. You're like, hey man, can you move, brother, while I really grab this? Like, yeah, I don't think they're really gonna win that. I don't think they don't play fast enough. They don't play young enough. They don't have enough youth. They have, Russ, Paul, Kawhi, you know, they'll be there. They'll get in people's way. They'll annoy, win a couple games, maybe win a series, but I don't think they.
All right. And fans, to close this segment, the Atlanta Hawks are trying to hire Quinn Snyder. Quinn, stay away from Atlanta. It's one of the worst sports cities in the history of the world. That's just my editorial comment. And if Mike was here, he'd start laughing. So with that, we'll be back on the Yacht Coaches Podcast. Don't go. Don't go.
There is an old business adage that says, what gets measured and monitored gets done. It is also fact that deadlines spur action. That is what the CKA Save Project Academic Monitoring Service can do for student athletes. Measure and monitor their academic progress to improve their grades. Our academic monitoring services provide ongoing academic support for student athletes for a designated period of time. Our academic success coaches work with student athletes on time management and organizational skills, along with improving their ability to self-advocate. Every few weeks, our academic success coaches meet with student athletes to assess their academic progress, as well as provide ongoing academic advising. If needed, student athletes have access to CKA Learning Specialists who provide virtual core subject academic support for student athletes. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free virtual consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Yacht Coaches Podcast, segment 2. Pat Bev is still out talking, folks. Pat Beverly, has one goal in mind, according to Pat Beverly, for the remainder of the season, and that's to keep the Los Angeles Lakers out of the playoffs. At least he's true to the beef. After being sent to the Orlando Magic ahead of the trade deadline by the Lakers, the veteran guard agreed to a buyout with the Magic, signed with his hometown Chicago Bulls, and when discussing his decision to sign with the Bulls on an episode of, wait for it, the Pat Bev podcast, Beverly called attention to the fact that Chicago still has 2 games on the schedules against the team that traded him in the Lakers. So his goal is to knock him out of the playoffs. Will, can Pat Bev put a wrench in the Lakers' playoff plans?
He's so fake. I don't even think so. Chicago's not good enough. I mean, they don't even really want to play. They're just like, DeMar's not really playing that well. Zach Lee is kind of whatever. And Pat Beverly, why don't you just call LeBron, call you Big Bro when he gave you a bottle of tequila? How you gonna call another man Big Bro and all of a sudden, like, he's fake, man. Now, to say,
maybe he's finished the bottle.
Maybe, if not. But all of that, I think Chicago is, it's funny enough, they could actually beat the Lakers twice and really knock them out. So it's not like crazy to say what he's saying, but he's just talking.
Robert, save me. Well, what do you think, man?
So Pat Bev is about one thing. Pat Bev, he's just trying to get paid, which I'm not going to begrudge anybody.
Get the bag.
You want to get paid? You want to get paid? Get paid. I'm all about that. The Lakers are terrible. Wouldn't shock me at all if Chicago beats the Lakers twice. Chicago beating the Lakers twice probably will not have a single thing to do with them not making the playoffs.
Right.
All right. Speaking of teams that will actually be in the playoffs, the Milwaukee Bucks superstar Giannis Antetokounmpo. He's hurt again, fellas. He missed some games this year. In January, he missed 5 games with knee soreness. This time, he bumped knees. Last time, it was a wrist. Milwaukee is still winning ball games. Milwaukee will be in the mix. How are you handling Giannis right now, Robert? Are we being conservative? Are we pushing the rehab? What are you doing, sir?
I am keeping Giannis on the shelf as much as I can, as long as I can. If we're a 2, a 3, a 6, or a 7, we're avoiding the Celtics until the finals, and I am good with that. We're going to cruise in, and we're going to stay under the radar, and we're going to make sure Giannis is healthy, because nothing matters until you play the Celtics in the playoffs.
Okay. Will, agree or disagree, man? What are we doing with Giannis?
I agree. I think even more so, you've already won a ring. There's no pressure for him to kind of, push it and try to get this ring or you can't get to. He already got it. So now it's just about managing to the next chapter of getting the second ring. Him being more healthy now will be more valuable to them in the playoffs. And when they finally, meet the Celtics, hopefully, he needs to be healthy for that. So, and, that's going to be a greater series, especially if he's healthy. So, not worried about it, just doing their thing.
All right. And finally, in this segment, as a player profile, what are we going to do with Ben Simmons? He is getting real money and giving us no production at all. That's no production. Robert, you're an administrator. You look at the books. You've done staffing in your day. You're looking at Ben Simmons' contract. You're looking at Ben Simmons' production. What's Robert doing, man? You just getting a buyout and go?
Bye. See ya. I've always felt really strongly about, you can, if somebody doesn't want, if somebody puts their keys on the desk, you take them. And that's essentially what he's done. He doesn't want to be there. I don't think he wants to play at all. I don't think he cares. I don't think it matters. And at this point, for the Nets, what's the point in keeping him? There isn't one. Just send him on his way, call it good, and move forward as best you can.
Cotton Man, as a lock leader, and that's a shoot fans. How are you handling Ben Simmons, man? How are you handling this?
You'll try and recoup everything you can. As an organization, you'll give people chances as best you can without having to say, peace. He'll get chances. At the end of the day, he's 7 feet. He can dribble. He can pass. He can defend. He's expensive, but there's a ton of guys on the NBA who are expensive and can't even do that. You know what I'm saying? Who keep him anyway. You know what I'm saying? So with no KD, no Kyrie, obviously no Harden from previous, it doesn't really help you out. At least you have a name. You can at least say, okay, we can do something with this. We can salvage this, and if we can just end this, we can move forward. But right now, I'd say hold on to him. Obviously, when you get to the off season, you're like, okay, how much we gonna, what are we trying to do, things like that. But he's definitely, one of the contracts is like, let's get rid of this guy, or
checks cleared, man. Checks are cleared.
You can't even hype him on TV. Oh, yeah. The Brooklyn Nets featuring Ben Simmons, who hasn't played for 9 games, and
then he played, and then he missed the game after the All-Star. He had like 10 games off. He's like, oh yeah, I'm not going to play today. So at some point, like you said, hey man, go to China, go do what Dwight Howard's doing, 100 points, 200 rebounds, 30 assists, 50, whatever. Make some money over there. They'll love it, and make some money. But
yeah, go play in the Philippines. I don't have a lot of patience for guys like that. I don't. I'm just like, just go away. Just go away.
He's just, you know,
as Dickman would say, go back to the dorm. Go back to the dorm.
I mean,
All right.
he couldn't even lead LSU. He couldn't even lead LSU out the SEC to attorney. So I mean, come on, people should already know what it was.
All right. So fans, when we get back, we're going to do the NBA week ahead, and then I can kind of use some statistics with some educators here to tell you why Phoenix might not be the pick everybody thinks they are. We'll be right back on the Odd Coaches podcast.
The reviews are in for Dr. Keith Adams' book, Finding the Balance, My Personal Journey to Academic and Athletic Success. College professor and student athlete academic expert Dr. Lisa Rubin said, "There is nothing out there like this book, so I do hope people will pay attention and give it a read." Former George Mason standout Fowler Campbell said, "Consider this book an opportunity to work directly with Dr. Adams, just like I did. I assure you that there will be something you can take away that will be useful to you throughout your personal journey." Ryan Waite, a recent college graduate who is a software engineer, said, "I like how the book is based on research, which makes it good for general students as well as student athletes." The book serves as both a memoir to Dr. Adams' 30-year academic and athletic career, as well as an instructional guide to assist student athletes, parents, coaches, teachers, and administrators navigate through the challenges of finding a better balance between academic and athletic success. The book includes over 15 personal stories and anecdotes from Dr. Adams, along with numerous former players and colleagues from a variety of sports and endeavors. You can order your copy at www.ckasaveproject.org. From the main page, simply click CKA Save Project Services and order the Find the Balance book. For more information, contact Dr. Keith Adams by email at cka@ckasaveproject.org.
Welcome back to the Odd Coaches podcast in segment 3. We're going to do the rankings, man. We're going to first start off with the Eastern Conference. Boston's number 1. Bucks are number 2. 76ers are number 3. I have no faith in them. Cavs are number 4. Spider Mitchell has a deep playoff run in him. Let's see if it works out for him. And fellas, say what you want, but the Nets are still number 5 in the East, and the Knicks are 6th. And in that 7 to 10 slot, the Heat, the Hawks, the Wizards, and the Raptors. And teams to watch, you got to watch the Bucks because they still win. Celtics, that was a money play by Jason Tatum. And will the Cavs actually do something? Because they do have a good team. Anybody in the East catch your eye, Will?
The Nets are even 5. That's fake. That's going to start drying down, right into the 7-10. I think it's because it's March, they could still make the playoffs.
It's like 22 games left, Will, and they're the 5th seed.
I think they're going to make the playoffs. I think they're going to be in the play-in. I don't think they're going to win enough. I think the guys who are trying to move up are hungry and they see the blood. They see the blood in the water, and they're going to start beating those Nets and all that. I forgot the 2 guys who were scoring, and it doesn't even matter anymore. They're going to get blown out now. I think it's going to start moving down 7-10. I would imagine that the Wizards get kicked out and the Nets move into 7-10. Knicks move up to 5, and I guess the Heat moves up into 6.
He got Kevin Love, man.
Yeah, exactly.
Did that do anything for you?
At the end of the day,
Robert is deadpanning me right now, fans. I just said Kevin Love and the administrator deadpan.
Couldn't guard a stool. But if you're looking at all these teams, Porzingis hasn't played in the last games, or I think 6 or 5 or whatever. Beals, whatever. They don't have anybody else. I think of all the teams, Heat, Hawks, Wizards, Raptors, Nets, Knicks, the Wizards are the ones that punched out as the playoffs, and everybody else is.
Robert, what do you think? Because my mic drop with Kevin Love didn't do it for you. What are you thinking about the East?
I did not know that the corpse of Kevin Love was still in the NBA. I had no idea.
I saw Andrew Bynum the other day on a team. So
Bynum is not on the team.
Yeah, so I just find it interesting in your rankings. You know how a lot of times
No, it's not my rankings. These are the legitimate rankings of the NBA.
Okay, no, but you look on rankings on people's websites, and they got arrows pointing up and pointing down and all that stuff. Do they have an anvil next to the Nets? Concrete shoes, baby? I don't know.
Oh my goodness. All right, let's go to the West, folks. Denver is number 1. Memphis is number 2. The Kings are still 3rd. The Clippers are 4th. The Suns are fifth. The Mavs are sixth. The 7 to 10 window, New Orleans, Minnesota, Golden State, Oklahoma City, and the teams to watch are Denver and the Suns. Robert, I'll start with you. Anything in the West catch you? Because notice I did not mention the Lakers.
So I still think, I mean, I love Jokic. I love watching him play.
Don't you say nothing bad about the Joker.
I ain't saying nothing bad about the Joker, but the Nuggets being a 1 seed, that is not going to end well, because whoever's sitting, if I would want to be a 4 or a 5 seed, I would be comfortable with that, because I just don't think that the Nuggets long term, I don't think that they're going to be successful. I don't see that happening.
Slow. They're too slow. Their pace is terrible. I mean,
Yeah.
But isn't it a great playoff pace, Will?
It's a great playoff, but they're going to get pushed. They're too slow. They're going
Phoenix is 9.5 games back from first place. They are 2.5 games back from third place and 4.5 games back from second place. The Clippers and the Suns are 4 and 5 right now, and Dallas is 6. Somebody's going to beat somebody, and they won't have to worry about them. Meanwhile, Denver, who has made no major moves, they have continuity, and they had a 2-time, baby, reigning MVP, are just floating along. They're 7-3 in their last 10, and they're going to keep rolling at these clips of 7-10, 8-2. 7-3, 8-2, 9-1, 6-4. So they're gonna be the number 1 seed.
I'd worry way more about Luka than Jokic.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So with that, fans, games of the week. Friday, March 3rd, Phoenix against the Bulls. Let's see if Pat Beverly can guard Kevin Durant.
Nope.
And then Saturday, March 4th, the 76ers against the Bucks. And as we close out this week, fans, he didn't listen to me. Sources have revealed, it's just come across the OCP desk, that Quinn Snyder has agreed to a 5-year contract to become irrelevant. I mean, the Atlanta Hawks' head coach, and is expected to make his debut, or debut, as Daffy Duck would say, Tuesday at home against the Washington Wizards. What do you guys think about that late breaking news as we are taping? Quinn Snyder going to the land of irrelevancy, to quote Roman Reigns, call the Atlanta Hawks. Will, what do you think about it? Because Quinn can coach.
Yeah, it'll make him a little better, in the next 2 years. But at the end of the day,
Trae Young's still on the team, right?
Trae Young still.
Switch, go over the screen. Who, me?
I mean, what if they were able? Because they were talking about trading him. They can trade him and get viable assets, and that you have Devontae Murray and they have Collins. Then okay, I can kind of see what you're talking about. But Trae Young won't allow it to happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of Luka, Robert, what do you think about the Hawks picking up Quinn Snyder?
I just unless he can talk Trae Young into guarding somebody, ain't gonna matter.
All right, and for its and giggles, let me just see where the Hawks are in the standings. The Atlanta Hawks are 8th. They're 13 games back from first place. They're 4.5 from the 6th spot, and they're 3 away from not making the playoffs. So welcome, Quinn Snyder. And with that, on behalf of my tag team partner, Coach Mike Francis, as well as our guest host today, Captain for Life, Will Cotton and Robert Abney, I'm Dr. Keith Adams saying thank you for listening and or watching the Odd Coaches podcast. And we'll see you on the sidelines. Till next time, take care. Maybe I'm too hard on them. No, I'm not.
No.
The Odd Coaches podcast is sponsored by the CKA Save Project. The CKA Save Project is an industry leader in providing student-athlete academic and athletic support. From assessing student-athletes' academic and athletic skills, to measuring and monitoring student-athlete academic progress, to improving student-athlete time management and organizational skills, the CKA Save Project provides wraparound services for student-athletes from middle school through college. For more information, visit us on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org or schedule a free consultation with Dr. Keith Adams by emailing cka@ckasaveproject.org. We hope you enjoyed today's show. The Odd Coaches podcast drops new episodes every Tuesday through Friday on most weeks. Make sure you subscribe to the Odd Coaches podcast on Apple Music, iHeartRadio, Podbean, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow the Odd Coaches podcast on Twitter and Instagram at Odd Coaches. Follow Dr. Adams on Twitter and Instagram at CKA Save Project. In addition, follow Coach Mike Francis on Twitter and Instagram at Coach Franchise, spelled Coach FRANCHIZE. For more information about the CKA Save Project, please visit them on the web at www.ckasaveproject.org. See you next time on the Odd Coaches podcast.